CannaCon is the nation's leading business-to-business cannabis conference and expo.
And look, it takes a lot more than just plant-touching businesses. It takes software, hardware, legal, insurance, packaging, marketing, display cases, POS systems, and all that stuff needed to grow this industry. We all have to get together and discuss how to grow it more.
Prohibition is ending quickly, and the total number of states with some form of cannabis legislation outnumbers the volume of states without. So get your tickets and information at cannacon.org.
Drugs. Almost everyone uses them, and everyone has an opinion about them. I'm Ethan Nadelman, host of the new podcast, Psychoactive. I'll be talking with scientists and politicians, celebrities and activists about all things drugs.
You know, I think ecstasy saved my marriage.
Why do we have receptors in our brain that fit molecules made by poppy plants?
Psychoactive is out now. Listen to Psychoactive on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
On the podcast Transportista, you'll hear the true story of a pilot who smuggled drugs for some of the world's most dangerous drug lords. El Transportista tells the tale in his own words from behind the bars of a federal prison, speaking on a smuggled cell phone.
My full name is Fernando Blengios Aceña, and I am currently 50 years old. I am a pilot.
Listen to Transportista on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Look, man. Where? Oh, I see. Wow. Oh, my. Oh, and look over there. Wow, is that culture? Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong! Las Culturistas calling.
You are joining us in progress. We are currently having our 1500th conversation about how Bowen is Natalie and I'm Mila.
I mean, we were saying, you know, I'm rolling. We were telling our beautiful sound engineer, Doug, hot sound engineer, Doug.
Bracingly hot.
Bracingly hot. You brace yourself.
You have to sort of grab what's around you.
As if, you know, your vehicle's about to crash. That's how hot he is. And then I said, I'm rolling. And then Matt fully, seamlessly went into the...
You've never rolled?
Oh, my God. It's like meeting the night sky. Wait, we might not be getting the exact quote right.
Let's say it's this. So you can see the night sky. I don't know exactly what she says, but something about the night sky.
But reader, and I'm sure you can feel it in your audio experience, but I was like, Matt, you are such a Mila. It's crazy how you're a Mila and I'm Natalie.
In the Natalie-Mila binary, which is already a front runner for title of ep, I'm very much the Mila and you are Natalie.
And my on-screen boyfriend is Ashton Kutcher. Yours is Justin Timberlake. That also makes sense to me.
It makes 100% sense because listen, gun to your head, and this is sort of us finally answering the question of no strings attached versus friends with benefits, right?
Yeah.
Gun to your head. You can fuck Ashton and be his friend with benefit, or you can have a no strings attached situation with Justin Timberlake, even though those film titles are switched. What do you choose?
No Strings Attached, featuring Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher, because there's Greta Gerwig, Guy Branum, Mindy Kaling as co-stars.
So you're sort of picking the movie. I'm talking about Carnal Desire. I'm saying, do you fuck Ashton or do you fuck Justin Timberlake?
Ashton, 100%. And I know your answer is actually Ashton once and for all, because we've talked about on this podcast how Justin, the stock really plummeted after a certain age.
Listen, sometimes with sex, this actually is a rule of culture, I'll get to it, but sometimes with sex, it doesn't even matter. I think, gun to my head, I would rather have sex with Justin Timberlake. I think it would be better than sex with Ashton Kutcher.
I mean, the only person who's the closest to knowing that would be Mila Kunis, I think, for simulating sex on screen with Justin and for actually having sex with him.
Well, I don't know. I wonder.
And I feel like she made her choice. And she made her choice. Oh, you're saying there's definitely people out there who've had sex with both of them. Absolutely.
Well, no. I wonder about Mila and Justin. I'm just saying things happen on the set. In fact, I was thinking about this. I was like, if you're doing a sex scene with someone and it's like pretty much the whole movie, you probably just fuck them, right? I mean, if it's consensual and everyone's good with it.
I don't know how. Can I tell you something?
You can tell me anything.
I am being put in the position of having a romantic interest in a fictional setting, in a controlled environment.
I know,
such as a movie set, and I think, I think it's my first real experience with it, and I think, and the lines do get very blurry, even though the boundaries are very, very, very clear to me. I'm like, oh, but it's so strange to like shift gears between realities. And that is very, very disorienting. And I understand why you got Mila and Ashton together, why Bennifer is an enduring thing. Why Zendaya...
Famously Brangelina.
Why Zendaya dates all of her, romantic interests. And I'm like, I don't relate to them really, but I think it makes more sense to me the more time goes on.
Look, as someone who's being put in a similar situation, I also can confirm the lines do blur, and it's fun, okay? And also, chemistry is hard to come by. Chemistry is not just something that just...
Oh, no.
That just walks along. And also,
don't I know it.
Don't I know it. And so, listen, all I'm saying is, and it sort of comes back around to a discussion we once had about, we're also dealing with actors who famously, they have like their little moments of narcissism. And when a narcissist shines their light on you, it's easy to, be susceptible to that.
Yeah.
And there's something romantic about it.
I've thought about that idea a lot ever since one Miss Busy Phillips introduced that concept into the discussion between us. I was like, I've never thought, I told the guy who cuts my hair this. I was like, someone recently told me, Busy Phillips, that, what narcissism means in this context. And he was like, that makes so much sense.
Totally. Because really what it is narcissists want external validation of what they are pretty sure is true internally, which is that they're the best. And so they'll go to extreme length. I've thought about this a lot too, since Busy said that.
TBH, I've had to self-examine and be like, have I done that? And I feel like to some degree, in some instances, I've done that every now and then.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm agreeing that you have probably done that.
No. But you're saying you too.
For me as well. Yeah, because I think it's also like, when you want someone to like you do the most.
You go for it. As in the words of Kim Cattrall, we go for it.
Go for it. And I would say, I told you my new Housewives tagline.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so funny. Tell me. To tell the readers. From the coast
to the coast, I'll be doing the most.
I didn't know. You have not told me that one.
Oh, what's the one I told you?
I mean, I found it so funny that I broadcast it to the world on my stories, which is over text. New Housewives tagline. I'm looking for a husband, plural.
I'm looking for a husband, plural. And that's, of course, I have another one, which is, I'm a triple threat. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Really good. I really famously have never had one, will never find one. I'm too scared to find one.
Well, let's talk about what yours is.
No, I don't want to do this. I feel like I had one time last summer when I was hanging out with you and Joel. I remember coming up with one that I was really happy with, and then it just fully escaped me. And
I have a good one for you.
I don't want you to you can't give it to me.
Yes, I can. You think that housewives don't get pitched taglines? You think they all are in a writer's room doing their own?
As a creative person, I want to come up with it on my own. But I'll hear a pitch. What is it?
Here's my pitch for you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Live from New York, it's me everywhere.
Everywhere all the time.
Or live from New York, it's me all over the world.
It's really good. Really good. Because it has to be, and this is what I love. This is what
the rubric.
Love. Well, the rubric is intersection between smart and stupid. And that is and that is what that is where you shine. There's really no one better who does it.
Thank you.
I really truly believe that. Oh, can we just talk about what's happening? Me and Matt are.
Oh yeah, ill.
Well, it's not, and just in the boring way of delayed gay, like late wave gay cold.
Mm-hmm. Like long gay cold. They say long COVID.
Persistent cold. Persistent cough. And the tests keep coming back. The COVID tests keep coming back negative.
Neg. I mean, they just keep rolling in negative, but I don't know about you, but for me, it's been like 2 months almost.
Oh, that has been that long for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. And I thought I was in the clear last week. And then weirdly enough, I get this bizarre cold again. And it's a productive cough. Sorry. So that means not COVID. And also, I keep getting COVID tests. I did go to the doctor today. And I also want to say shout out to the doc because he's a listener. And I went to the doctor today, and he did say, oh yeah, we've been seeing a lot. And his eyes widened of those in terms of positive COVID cases of the vaccinated. So I guess my whole thing is just like, I don't know. I know everyone was annoyed about the masks indoors, but like I'm like hosting shows again. I'm doing things, but then it's also like you can't be testing positive and then work. Like I'm about to do a job, and so now I'm just kind of like, am I quarantining again? We have got big things on the schedule, Bo. We've got big things on the schedule.
I know, and I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful.
Well, should we tell the readers what we're doing?
Sure.
We're going to see Gaga and Tony.
We're seeing Gaga and Tony. We're gonna wear masks the whole time though at Radio City. That is what you and I can agree upon.
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't sure how you were feeling about that because I was like, can I be totally honest with you?
Yeah.
My default mode going in was I'm not gonna wear a mask.
Yeah.
But you and I checked in earlier today, and you were like, no, we're going, and I'm gonna wear a mask the whole time. And I was like, of course, and I will do the same.
Well, I think that everyone should make their own decision. I think if you're comfortable being there and like New York is not mandating masks indoors, like I let's just say this without saying too much. I think you have less to lose than I do. Like I think if I test positive, I'm going to lose a job that you will not lose. So I think like for me, it's just like I'm gonna go extra careful and don't feel the need to wear the mask because of me. The only reason I'm even going is because
my reasoning is fucked.
No, it's not.
I'm not wearing the mask. I hate that it took you to get me to wear the mask, but I feel like it is the right thing to do in that situation.
I think that if I'm just basing it based on what I'm seeing and how I'm feeling, like it's not a big deal for me to wear a mask inside at an event like this.
We've all done it. We've all worn a mask for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, so the outrage about wearing masks again, I don't really get, because it's like you can see that cases are going up. Why don't we just like take the extra step? Like we've done it for this long, we can do it for a little bit longer. Cause I don't know, I'm still optimistic about the whole thing. Like I know it's awful that cases are going up, but I genuinely feel like this will get more people vaccinated because they'll see the severity of the situation. I'm an optimist like that, perhaps too much so, but I just could not imagine not going to this because it's going to be history. It's going to be historic. I mean,
historic.
It's likely Tony Bennett's one last time.
It's a little self-awarely sad. It knows.
Well, it is sad.
It's sad, and you know, and Tony Bennett, what an icon.
I mean, like one of the few living legends.
Can we actually say? I know we're biased because we love Gaga, but in hindsight, Cheek to Cheek is like what a fucking amazing thing that Gaga did, and they both did, but like. A perceived wild career move from Gaga back then that everyone was like, what the fuck is she doing? But it's like, I think it ages very well. And it really puts Gaga in like this crazy and this different, echelon as a performer. This is pre-Star is Born, mind you. And now like in the post-Star is Born sort of, stretch of Gaga's career, it's like, it all made sense. All of it still all of it holds up on an artistic level. And I just think it's really special. And you know that I was blasting Cheek to Cheek when it came out. I was singing Gaga's version of Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down.
You were, and it's something to behold. It's real when Bowen Yang sings Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down.
The Gaga version.
The Gaga version with Henry Kapersky accompanying. I mean, it's truly, I feel bad for everyone that hasn't seen it. But I will say this, and you were really doing the rounds with it too there for a while. It was like when Bowen Yang got to the piano, we were all like already waiting for it to happen. I never could figure out when Henry was doing that, I never could figure out like an iconic song for
because you had a lot of great you succeeded in a lot of ways.
Do you know what song I loved doing? Was Foolish Games by Jewel.
Oh my God.
Because I like to bring the drama.
Yes. You need something dramatic.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, just circling back to Cheek to Cheek, I think like it was even more, I think in doing that, she shocked everyone and surprised everyone more than anything she could have done on Art Pop. Like, in terms of the content of Art Pop, it was like, we were prepared for a song called like Swine. You know what I mean? We were prepared for all of it. Like, you could even say like, it wasn't like, when I heard she like got vomited on or whatever during the promo, it was like, that didn't surprise me as much as her doing an entire like standards album with Tony Bennett. I was like, wow, what an interesting move. What an interesting musical flex. And then I think that really set the tone for her being this like, you know, new queen of reinvention in the way that she is. And it just showed that there were so many like hands that she hadn't like shown yet. You know what I mean? Like I still think she's got tricks. I really do.
I 1000% agree. I feel like she's never going to be someone that people aren't going to be interested in with what she's doing, you know?
Yes. I used to say that about her when I wasn't like a Gaga stan, which I really am now. Like, and especially, I don't know, I've said this before on this podcast, but I do believe it's true. Like, I think for people that are still having problems with their identity, Gaga's tough. Like, I think people that like, people that don't love themselves don't love Gaga. And then when you're really ready to love yourself, you're ready to come out and say how much you love Gaga, because you do.
I don't disagree. I think that's a huge statement, but I don't disagree.
I think if you don't love Gaga, you don't love yourself. Yeah. And it's rule culture number one. If you don't love Gaga, you don't love yourself.
Because love and hate are a binary. If you don't love yourself, then you hate yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, if you hate Gaga, you hate yourself. Honestly, I remember when she came out with remember like when Applause and Roar came out like truly within the same 24 hours. Yeah, you were a full Katy cat, and I was on the other side. I was like, it's Gaga. Meanwhile, now it's like in retrospect, we can appreciate that like Roar is a good pop song, but but Applause is like a statement. Applause is art. Applause is art pop.
That whole album. No, okay, so everyone now, of course, is like, oh my God, justice for art pop, which I love. I embrace this movement. But everyone needs to really read up on the promo period cycle of that album, which was chaotic.
Yeah.
But also, that was the point. It was her at it was at Swine Fest, which was the iTunes Music Festival, where she, you know, kind of went nuts. And then South by Southwest was where she was vomited on. And then she did the keynote in a trash bag in gray dreads.
Right.
And talked about how the music industry is broken and how record labels are evil. And then you rewind and you go back to her doing all the Marina Abramovic stuff. Like the video of her like doing the Upstate Retreat where she's like, her tits are out and she's wearing like a blindfold with cones coming out of the eyes. And then it's just her. And then it cuts to her lying down on the floor inside some building, and she goes, "Eh!" Do you know what I'm talking? She went to she spent like a whole week, like off the grid with Marina, like doing this whole artistic retreat, and I'm like, she's committed to this idea of art pop, and it's so powerful,
and it's really something that when she like, you know what I appreciated when she came out as a helicopter.
Yes.
I was like, she came out and she said, I'm the first human helicopter. And she barely lifted off the ground. And honestly, at the time, I was like, this person has gone completely off their rocker, flop. But looking back, I'm like, no. Every moment of this was art pop. It was perfect. It was the artist as pop art. It was speaking to each other in a way that, yes, you could barely understand it, but that is the point.
That's the point.
Was a Rorschach.
A Rorschach, and then
Rorschach.
No, it's your art pop could be anything. Rorschach could be pronounced any way.
Yes, and you know what? You're right. I am art pop.
You are art pop. You are the Kuntz is you, and then her. Speaking of which, working with Jeff, like that was such a crazy move, and like Jeff Kuntz is very controversial. But like she like was fully committed to that idea of like, no, I'm gonna have a Jeff Koons sculpture made for me with the blue orb, and like it's just all of it was so. I don't know. Everyone knows how I feel about Gaga. I just had my Born This Way 10th anniversary shirt come in the mail that I ordered like 2 months ago. I will always love her, and I'm so excited to see her with my sister. And
it's gonna be
I hope
fun.
we don't get COVID, and that's
no.
what
I think if I get it from like Gaga somehow, that's actually fine. But the thing is, like the cheek to cheek out of Art Pop makes perfect sense to me because then she was fully committed to that, and
then cheek to cheek into Star Is Born makes total sense too.
Well, there was Joanne first, right?
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. It was cheek to cheek into Joanne.
It actually makes even more sense because you get the sense that it's like all barreling towards something. You know what I mean? And like there was that like countryness of A Star Is Born, which felt informed by Joanne.
Yes.
Like, and I don't know, people hate on Joanne, but I fucking love Joanne.
Oh, I listened to Come to Mama today, Sinner's Prayer. How dare you?
I just feel like if you're a Gaga fan, if you're a little monster and you're like, but we all know Joanne, ... shut up.
No.
Keep your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut and go watch the John Wayne video, which is the spiritual successor to Telephone and Paparazzi.
Yeah.
It is the third installment of the Jonas Åkerlund directed Gaga music videos, I believe.
I love when she's riding on that horse and she hits that tree branch. To me, that's comedy.
Oh, it's pure comedy. She's a zombie in that music video. She's not a zombie in any other music video. It's really incredible. That is Christ-like, and that is still a Catholic imagery. This girl is amazing. I love that.
This girl is amazing.
This girl's amazing. In the words of Gwen Stefani to Celine Dion, I love this girl.
I love this girl. I love this girl right here. This girl is crazy.
Love this
girl. I love this girl. By the way, congrats on the wedding, Blake and Gwen.
Blake and Gwen, congrats.
Congrats on the big wedding. What did you see by the way, speaking of Blake, did you see the promos with Ariana shooting the voice promo?
Of Ariana shooting the voice promo. She wrote a very emotional post about how
she's like so excited to do it,
and she's like, I'm already thinking about the people I have to say goodbye to, and we haven't even started doing anything. And I'm like, this girl is into it. I'm excited.
You know that she is that girl. Because here's the thing about Ariana
Grande. She's Florida.
She's a Disney gay, bitch. Ariana Grande is a Disney gay. It's Rule of Culture number 71. Ariana Grande is a Disney gay. I have tea about Ariana that she goes to Disneyland a lot.
Oh, I've heard this tea that she will sometimes one time she like, it was like 11 p.m. and she was like, I want to go to Space Mountain. I want to go on, not to Disneyland. I want to go on Space Mountain. And then like she got driven with like, her, Seven Rings friends or whatever to go to Space Mountain. They rode it once and then they left. And I'm like, that's amazing.
I believe that some version of that is true on a deep, deep level. Like, I don't know, like, when I see her and Frankie Grande, and when I know like the Florida-ness of it all, and when I know that she was a Broadway girl, and when I really like think about who she is, I'm like, this girl is a Disney gay.
This girl's a Disney gay.
It's something about Disney gays, and there's a science to this. But when The Voice came out, and you got to hit a button and the chair would turn when you hear a good singer, she, of course, wants to hit a button and have a chair turn.
She was like, oh my God, this reminds me of the Haunted Mansion. Like,
literally.
Yeah.
Literally. She watched that show, and I bet Ariana was like an American Idol fan when she was little. So, she's probably gagged about Kelly. I mean, you're talking about like her best friend was Demi Lovato, or like they were really close. Demi Lovato stans Kelly. So all these young singers like stan Kelly from when she was on American Idol because she was the one. Like for like suburban girls who were watching American Idol, like Kelly is a thing.
Kelly is a thing. And like in the little shots of the promo, you could see like Ari like really gravitating towards Kelly. On the subject of Demi, can we just really appreciate? I need to go back and watch the footage of when Demi was on X Factor with Britney. Like, we really have to give credit to Demi putting themselves in that position when like most of America would have been like, who the fuck is that girl?
Yeah.
Like back then, So it's like that. So like, I don't know, like Demi is another person who's always made really interesting career choices. They don't always work in the way that we are used to, like the pop people, the pop gals, let's just say, like for semantics sake.
For group's sake, yeah.
For grouping's sake. This is not to erase their gender, but anyway, I feel like Demi is someone who has always been interesting, and we've talked about Demi a lot. But the Demi in the X Factor days, I'm like, why I need to go back and watch some of that, because they were doing something really, I don't know, cool and different. I don't know. Like,
well, what it was they were on with Britney Spears. So I believe that what happened was, and this is sort of the way that Britney
clearly didn't like it. It was something that Jamie made her do.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think it was just, they thought they were going to get something they weren't going to get, which is Britney on a show like that. She doesn't have a big personality. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's not going to hit you with like a big, but
neither does Demi.
Soundbite. But Demi did, actually. And if you watch the old interviews, they were the ones that did a lot of the press with Simon, because they had a relationship with Simon that was very, they would nip at each other. Yeah. And so if you actually go back and watch a lot of the press around X Factor at the time, it's almost like they realized with Britney they weren't going to get like this relationship, like this Paula Abdul type relationship with Simon. And Demi was there, I think, knowing the assignment. Yeah. And I think that
you're right.
Demi is very smart and funny. And not that Britney isn't, but Britney at that stage, I think, was just a different vibe. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, if you watch like Judges' Houses, which I have, like, she's very concerned about, like, she gets assigned the young kids. She gets assigned the under 16s or whatever. No, Britney.
And
And I think, like, it's interesting because, and obviously that was a very staged and produced show, maybe the most out of all of them. But Britney wasn't giving big personality the way that Demi was, and I think that it's interesting because that's obviously not what they thought was going to happen. No. You know what I mean? It was like L.A. Reid and Demi on the one side of the table, and then it was Britney and Simon. And I think that they hoped that Britney Spears would bring this big outsized, like, Christina Aguilera on The Voice personality, but that's just not who she is.
No, totally. Matt, do you know what CannaCon is?
Well, Bowen, it's the nation's leading business-to-business cannabis conference and expo.
That's right. And if you go, you can shop the most innovative products in the industry from seed to sale.
Yeah, you can network with thousands of like-minded business professionals in the cannabis community.
And learn from industry experts at their seminars.
And look, it takes a lot more than just plant-touching businesses. It takes software, hardware, legal, insurance, packaging, marketing, display cases, POS systems, and all that stuff needed to grow this industry. We all have to get together and discuss how to grow it more.
At CannaCon, where it's the most fun you can have at a B2B expo. Billions of dollars in revenue and millions of jobs are being generated by this new growing industry, and now is the time to see where your business can grow within it.
Prohibition is ending quickly. The total number of states with some form of cannabis legislation outnumbers the volume of states without, and that's why we all got to get together at CannaCon, and you can get started at cannacon.org. Wealthfront can create a portfolio of globally diversified low-cost index funds personally just for you in minutes. No manual trades, no picking stocks, no watching the stock market every day. They automatically handle all the investing based on preferences you can control. Wealthfront can even help you lower the taxes you pay as you invest. For the average client, their tax loss harvesting can cover more than the low annual 0.25% advisory fee. Best of all, it's automatic. Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion of assets, and you can get your first $5,000 managed for free by going to wealthfront.com/ding dong. Decades of data show that investors that trade individual stocks underperform the market every year. In fact, only 1% of day traders beat the market. The odds are not in your favor if you're doing it alone. Team up with Wealthfront instead. All you need is $500 to get started. Grow your wealth the easy way and let Wealthfront do the work for you. To get your first $5,000 managed for free for life, go to wealthfront.com/ding dong. That's wealthfront.com/ding dong to start growing your savings. Go to wealthfront.com/ding dong and get started today.
Murder in Illinois is the new iHeartRadio podcast from the producers behind Happy Face and Murder in Oregon.
You don't really need to see the crime scene photos to have your heart broken.
What started as a family road trip ended as a massacre.
Murdered children and murdered mother.
3 children were murdered by the last person they ever thought would harm them.
My best friend lost her life and is not here to tell the truth.
He said, they just arrested Chris. And her first words were, but he didn't do it.
Did the person convicted of 4 murders actually pull the trigger?
None of their theories of how this happened fit the crime scene evidence.
I'm Lauren Bright Pacheco. Join me for Murder in Illinois, Who Killed the Vaughn Family.
So crazy. This is all so crazy.
Listen and follow on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
You know, who were to when it swung so far the other way, so that it failed, was with Mariah and Nicki. And I actually went back and watched. So Matt and I have this friend from college named Colin Cortopassi, and then this is so indelibly burned into me, but that season of Idol, when it was like all you heard was Mariah and Nicki fighting during the auditions when they were in New York. There's a moment where Mariah, HMU is coming in to like just do last looks on Mariah and Nicki, and then Mariah just kind of, and it's like sort of like they didn't know the cameras were rolling. It's like a little bit of a BTS moment, and Mariah goes, "I really want to lose 3 pounds," and then Nicki goes, "I know how you can," and then Mariah rolls her eyes and goes, "It's a quote from Mean Girls. If you knew Mean Girls, then you would know." And then Nicki Minaj goes, and this is something that Colin Cortopassi and I quote all the time. She goes, "I do know mean girls. She goes, "I do know mean girls." And it's just, I don't know, it's just a dumb inside joke. But I remembered that last week, and I found that clip on YouTube, snipped it, cut it, trimmed it, sent it to Colin just with no context, and he knew exactly what I meant. But Nicki and Mariah was just ugly. It was ugly it wasn't that fun the whole time, except for the
situation that you just described is why it was bad casting, because you cannot have those two on the panel at the same time, because there is such a thing as having too many stars. And Nicki Minaj, wherever she goes, is going to be the star, and Mariah, wherever she goes, is going to be the star. So when Mariah is sitting there and she says a line from Mean Girls, that is Mariah's moment.
Don't
understand
step in.
though, but when Nicki Minaj is there, you have to also allow for any moment to be her moment.
Yeah.
So it was just not good. And I would say, I do know who won that season because her name was Candace Glover. She was like an amazing singer. But if I'm a contestant on that season, I'm pissed.
That sucks. Yeah. That's
because the whole thing became about them and their like feud or whatever, which is, again, disappointing as someone who loves, as a Barb and a Lamb, which is already a tough position to be in.
Tough position to be in. Very
like,
tough.
I don't want to see that play out, especially when you watch the Up Out My Face video and they're having so much fun together.
Genuinely, they look like they're having a blast together, and you're like, I think it feels like a very Wicked situation, you know, like that, like they actually... Well,
you know, separately, like they asked Mariah one time, they were like, "Can you say a nice thing about Nicki Minaj?" And Mariah turns to the camera and goes, "You know, when she first came out, I clocked her right away, and I knew she was going to be a huge star, which is why she was on Up Out My Face, because I saw
Mariah
her and was like,
the hip hop. Mariah has always nurtured the hip hop.
I was like, I know that's a huge star. I think she's so talented." And then Nicki, in a separate interview, said, "I don't want to be fighting with her. She's Mariah Carey. My mother and I used to sing her songs all the time. I don't want to be fighting with her." So I think these are two people who, again, it's the narcissism, it's the ego, it's the whatever that just comes with, and we love both, but it just comes with the territory where you cannot have the two of them in the same place too often, sharing space, because they're not used to it. Because another thing is just like, you know, when you come from a culture of women being pitted against each other all the time, it's hard when they're fanning the flames so much to like subvert that, because that's probably all they knew. You know what I mean? I would imagine that neither of them had worked with a lot of other women.
And that's what you get when you combine Long Island with Bronx. It's like,
oh dear.
Oh dear is all we have to say. But look, the only way you get two stars to coexist successfully in something is if you have a Natalie and a Mila.
Yes, and listen to me here and now. Kelly is a Natalie and Ariana is a Mila. Also, the fact is, like, Kelly is now like older to the point where it's just like she's not trying to be a pop star in the way that Ariana is.
Exactly.
Like, so, and also it's also not cool anymore to have to these women feuding. You know what I mean? Like that's not like a narrative that the media is chasing anymore. I think because like they know it's fucked up, even if they try to get it across like in terms of like subliminal ways. I think that they know that they would get called out immediately for trying to portray a situation where two women on these shows were like going at each other just because like they're both the diva. You know what I mean? It's so tired.
Yeah, I know. It's although, you know what I was thinking about the other day? I'm like, do you think Ari would ever do a song with like a Cardi, or do you think Cardi would ever do a song with a Doja? Or I guess
they all do songs together. Well, you know what? What might get weird
with the Nicki of it all. I feel
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
I feel like that's already been undercut with Megan, like hopping around doing Doja, Cardi, Nicki, just like working with all of them.
Yeah, I think that it really depends who you're aligned with initially. Like I almost feel like,
but Megan was aligned with Nicki the most, like and like the earliest iteration, and like I kind of do. I feel like we've all wondered, like, I wonder how Nicki feels about WAP outperforming Hot Girl Summer in some ways.
I also think we might be projecting a little bit onto the current narrative based on what it's been. We don't know what we haven't heard a lot of Nicki versus Cardi stuff. It feels like now that we've had like Megan's year, and she has set the tone of like working with everyone, and we've sort of like, I think it's honestly so ugly. Like when you see like this, it's
been so ugly all along. I hated
the Taylor and Katie thing. I thought that was so stupid, and I thought it made them both.
I hated the
really
Katie
dumb.
and Gaga thing.
Yeah, I hated it all. I always hate it. I always hate it.
It's just so, I don't know. It's so base or whatever.
Especially when like, and I think that's one of the only things I didn't like love about Lover too, is it felt like you need to come down, like that felt like a vehicle for that moment where they like finally hugged again. And I'm like, yeah, but why was this a thing in the first place?
Right.
Like, it's stupid. It's dumb.
Between Katie and Taylor though, we should say that Taylor was the one who kind of threw gas on the fire with Bad Blood.
I mean, I here's what I would say. Based on status in the industry, there's no reason for Katie to come for Taylor. Like, it doesn't make sense, and I do believe it hurt her. Katie, like, I think that whole situation ended up hurting Katie, and so I don't think. Well, can I tell you a rumor about what I heard started that whole thing?
That wasn't the dancers, or
no. I heard, and I would never say where I heard this because I don't remember.
Okay.
But I heard that this is the insane rumor I heard. I heard they were both at Club 33 in Disneyland.
Oh my God.
I heard they were both there. And at the time, Katie was dating John Mayer. So I heard that Katie and John Mayer were at one
Disneyland.
We're at one table in Club 33, and then across the room, Taylor was there with other people, and they didn't know they both were going to be there. And so I heard that as a joke, Katie sent over to Taylor's table a glass of milk and told them, tell her that this is on the woman in the corner. Because she wanted to break the tension because she was with John, and John Mayer and Taylor famously had like a tough situation.
Yeah, but that's tough to that's not super legible. If I'm Taylor and I get sent a glass of milk, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, so apparently she was very fuck you about it and left the restaurant because she was like, I don't like this, and she didn't get it.
Because Katie, can I say, despite Taylor being like the obvious bully in that dynamic, in the end, I feel like Katie had like a mean girl streak about her. Like she gave off that energy. I'm just saying, like, remember, like, she used to be like really good at Twitter. I mean, like, some of the kids might not know this. Katy Perry was like one of the early Twitter celebrities who was like really good at it. Like, got it, like joked about, like,
I remember,
had a great sense of humor about herself. Anyway, yeah.
I always think that Katie, and this is annoying, but and LOL, but I always think that Katie is funny. It's one of the things I like about her. I like her wacky sense of humor. I like that her first ever Grammy performance was she came out as a banana and sang I Kissed a Girl. Like, I think it's funny. I think Left Shark is funny. I think her like being sexual with a beach ball is funny. I think that her humor is one of the things I like about her. Mm-hmm. I think that her quote unquote sense of humor and Taylor Swift's quote unquote sense of humor don't mix.
It's very LA versus Nashville, or LA versus, Pennsylvania, or however you want to delineate it. I keep going back to like where these people come from, like with Mariah and Nicki, or with Ari or whatever. It's like it informs a lot, and Katie sending Taylor a glass of milk feels very LA to me. Feels very like, or Santa Barbara, or wherever the fuck Katy Perry's from. And but to think that this potentially all started in Anaheim, California.
This Amazing. Is what I heard. I heard that it was much more about the John Mayer of it all than it was.
That makes sense.
and it was just like they just didn't communicate well, than it was about backup dancers or whatever. And I think and you have to remember, Taylor sang the backup dancer of it all, like the Sabotage Arena tour. That's like, that did start the whole thing. And also, I'm not entirely sure that's how that works. Like, I think the backup dancers have to be on some sort of contract or something.
1000% they're on a contract. And has anyone verified, one, that the actual like list, the roster of dancers can be like cross-referenced? And then for two, that that this is a very common occurrence potentially, if it is, like, it's very common for dancers. Like, I feel like you have dancers like go from like a Gaga tour to like a Carly Rae Jepsen or like Mark Hanamura, or that's a bad example, but it's like I feel like this happens all the time. Anyway,
I mean, I'm sure we could listen, if you were a dancer on that tour, wink, fucking wink, you should reach out and maybe set some of this right, because right now we have all of our listeners believing that it's a Club 33 moment. So
I would rather it be a Club 33 moment.
But don't you think that all makes sense? I think that I can see it. I can see it playing out. Like Katie being like, "No, I got it, babe. I'm sending over a glass of milk. This works every time." She probably thought that was hilarious because Katie's sense of humor is send a glass of milk, or like, you know, a gorilla on a telephone calling the police. You know what I mean? Whereas like Taylor's sense of humor is different. It's like, my cat's name is Meredith Grey. You know what I mean? It's just like there's a different thing.
Katie's sense of humor is like non sequiturs, like very like quote unquote random imagery. Taylor, I would argue, doesn't really. Taylor's sense of humor, which I don't think is a sense of humor necessarily, is like cat photos and shit. Like I will say, as much you and I love Taylor, and everyone knows we love Taylor. Taylor's not a particularly funny person, and that's okay.
I think that she has a sense of humor, but I don't think she particularly has a great sense of humor about herself. So I think that someone who's like, I think they're oil and water in that regard, and therefore shouldn't be close, because I think that, and I'm sure they both take themselves super seriously. It's just like literally from what you can see, from what's projected to us from them, it seems like Katie has more of an ability to say, LOL, I look dumb, than Taylor ever will. Because Taylor, the second she was able to, became, you know, like, at her apex, Taylor was cool, hot, and with models. At her apex, Katy Perry was beach balls at the Super Bowl, and they have a face, and I'm kissing them, and maybe I fucked that tree. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just different.
At her apex, it was last Friday night, and it was like, just
right.
You know, like, was Taylor ever a kid? Hot Engineer Doug is asking, was Taylor ever a kid? Yeah. Well, Taylor's whole story is that, you know, she was kind of like the perfect, you know, machine of like, she was just cranking out songs, and all she's ever, her whole mindset has been driven by the music industry. And so maybe there was like an early loss of innocence in that way. I don't know. We're not going to like write the biography for these women. That's not for us to do. We're just talking about these very frivolous, fun things and taking them very seriously. I think it's time, Matt, for us to do what we set out to do today. Do you agree? So
we did set out to do something today, and I do agree, because I think that we sort of have got to the bottom of this conversation.
Yeah.
And I just would like to say, just to button it up, we love both. And if you don't think that Bowen and I ride hard for Taylor, you haven't listened to this podcast, because we usually get told that we need to shut the fuck up about her and her music and how much we stand.
And we refuse to, by the way.
And this is one of the first times that in a long time that we've been like critical of Taylor. And it's about something old too. Okay, she hasn't even done anything new.
I mean, speaking of Taylor and Katie, it's so funny that, because I did this recently, you and I have made a lovely time out of watching those chart data YouTube videos. Do people know what we're talking about?
No, so if you don't know, now you know. It's those, you can see like an artist's like Billboard history, the Hot 100 history, and it's so fun to watch like how they're, I don't know, it's just, they're really fun.
It's very interesting to see how much, it's like a very like, it's a glimpse, it's like a 4D glimpse of like, as in like you literally see the time axis of like when things were promoted, like when it's so interesting. And then Taylor's was obviously great. Katie's so solid.
Yeah,
Katie's is really fucking solid. And then it inspired me to go and watch music videos from the Teenage Dream era and from the Prism era. But I was like,
Prism slaps, and
Prism's
people actually don't give Prism enough credit. Prism is a good album and
great album,
and also like it was actually a
Justice for Prism.
Justice for Prism. Wait,
it did incredibly well. There's no need for justice.
It did really well.
There's no need for Justice for Prism.
Doug, do you feel comfortable coming in and saying your anecdote about recording with Katy Perry?
Yes, we would love to. We would love for you to tell the readers.
Can you come in, Doug?
Doug, come in.
Doug. Tell them all. So you worked with Katy Perry.
Yeah.
All right. So tell them your experience with her.
Tell
and
them
your impressions of her.
With Katy.
I thought Katy was amazing. She was a great singer and played guitar. Was very funny, like you said. I think Katy had like a fun childhood. Like I don't know if Taylor. I don't know. She was a star so early. I don't know if she was ever a kid. I think that is part of why Katy's funny.
Katy did kind of go through this fucked up machinery of like Christian rock and Christian pop that I feel like she came out the other side of it being like, let me just have fun and not like worry about like this morass of thing that I was just a part of.
And you know what's funny is that people usually are like, oh, well, Katy Perry, you know, like she's not one of the singers.
She's not a musician.
You said something really interesting, which is that she had a very big sound. What did you say about her?
Oh, her voice is huge.
Well, have you listened to her MTV Unplugged set?
Yeah.
So good. What did you work with her on? Do you remember like what the tracks were, what the album was?
It was the first big one.
One of the Boys?
Oh, one of the boys.
Yeah.
It was her debut. And Thinking of You is, I listened to that song.
One of my favorite songs. And one of her favorite songs.
Yeah.
She still plays that live to this day. And she'll always qualify by being like, and this is a song that I just like to do. So I'm going to do it. And she still does it. And it's, I don't think that song got the credit. It's also one of my favorite music videos.
Great music video.
But I'll never forget that you said that she had like an easy to record sound because she's got such a big sound.
She sings from the right place.
I love it.
A musical glimpse inside with Doug. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. Go away. Go.
Now go. Get out of here.
Go. Get out.
Looking good, though.
Looking good. Doug's looking good.
You know about Prince, Biggie, Mick Jagger, Dusty Springfield, Marvin Gaye, Miles Davis. This isn't about them. This is about a girl. A podcast about women whose stories have been eclipsed by the legends of their famous partners. I'm Nikki Lynette, the host of About a Girl, Season 2. I'm a performer, writer, and visual artist, and I know a thing or two about complex women. That's why I'm so excited to tell you these amazing true stories of 12 people who helped shape some of the greatest music of the modern era. These are women whose lives were profoundly affected, but not defined by their relationships to larger-than-life icons. They inspired, and they were inspired. And they are all coming at you in Season 2 of About a Girl. About a Girl is produced by Double Elvis in partnership with iHeartRadio. Listen to About a Girl on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
For the past year, my life has sounded a lot like this. No, she, come on. Run it. I've been home. We've been home. Day after day, week after week, month after month. This has become the comforting soundtrack of life. And it's been wild. Women have become mothers. Men have become fathers.
You know, in my head, I always thought that a kid could ruin everything.
This is a podcast about origin stories. About those moments, big and small, that transform us forever. This is Wild. Season 1, Home Forever. Brought to you by me, Eric Galindo, and LAS Studios. Listen to Wild on the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, a Ferguson, Missouri activist found her son hanging from a tree, and police are ruling it a suicide, but the mother believes it was a lynching.
He was not suicidal.
From Double Asterisk, Now This, and iHeartRadio comes an unforgettable new investigative podcast series, After the Uprising. All episodes are available now. Listen today on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts.
We did set out to do something.
Yes.
Which is, we are excited to announce that we are going to announce some of the categories for the first, maybe not annual, we don't know what the cadence will be going forward.
But it is the first.
It is the first Las Culturistas Culture Awards.
Now, what is this, you might ask? We barely know. All we know is that we've created several categories. And by several, I mean these categories will number in the hundreds. And we will be giving the awards at a later date. But we wanted to sort of go through some of the categories.
Season. We're starting the season officially.
This is the award season. The Las Culturistas award season is beginning. And so we're going to announce some of the categories today. And we encourage you to sort of engage with each other about who could be the winners of these categories. There are no nominees.
There are no nominees, but we will announce a winner. And the people who are up for the awards are campaigning as the campaign has started.
Yes. So if you feel that if you are sort of competitive for these awards, please campaign. You know what I mean?
Or if you fancy yourself a publicist for, a conceptual award, like we're going to announce them, we're going to announce like one of them is, let's just come out with this. It's a random one I picked up from the list, best seltzer flavor. If you feel like you want to campaign for Pamplemousse, let's say, be the publicist for Pamplemousse, let us know that you want Pamplemousse to win that category.
Yeah. And there's certainly an argument for Pamplemousse. I mean, I already know some girls who could really go to the mat for Pamplemousse because I see them be drinking it.
Oh, yeah.
So we are at this time are going to, Bowen and I are going to go back and forth saying some of the categories.
And some quick commentary.
Understand that there are many categories to come. There will be 250 categories. And this is the most ambitious event in Las Culture history. And as you know, we've done some ambitious events, okay? We've done the top 200 moments in culture, and this will be even bigger than that. It is the Las Culturistas Culture Awards, the first. It's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony, Las Culturistas Culture Awards. So it's now EGOT La Sacaca.
La Sacaca. And Matt, I'm going to say something, and I want you to really, if you want to like rein me in, let me know.
Okay.
I think some categories the readers can suggest.
I think if you have a suggestion, you should suggest.
And I think the best, to be honest, the best way to reach us is through Twitter. Is through the Las Culturistas Twitter account. Tag Las Culturistas. That is the most direct line.
Yes.
Into our ears.
And I would say take it out of the DMs on Insta. Let's just let Insta be Insta.
Yep.
Tag at Las Culturistas on Twitter because those are Bowen and I's Twitters now. We've both done a great job of saying fuck you to Twitter personally.
But we love, the one moment, the space that I love and hold sacred is to every now and then check the Las Culture Twitter.
Yes.
For some engagement. Some people are still complaining about certain things. That's fine. But a lot of people are really, giving us great material suggestions. I mean, I wouldn't have found half of the Death to All of Them content had it not been for the readers tweeting.
And there is so much of it. And we're so happy about it. And yes, I have seen, and Bowen has seen the remix. We love
the remix.
The remix. It's of Death to All of Them. It's absolutely amazing. But yes, at Las Culturistas if you want to suggest categories. But for now, we will sort of, at this moment, begin to list the categories.
Yes.
All right. So, Bowen, would you like to begin?
I will begin. Our first category is Biggest Jester.
Biggest Jester. So this is, of all the jesters, this would be awarded to the biggest one.
To the one who displays the most jester behavior. The behavior you exhibited tonight was jester-like.
Jester-like. If you can sort of understand who that might be directed to, campaign for that person. The second category is Biggest Flop. This is not biggest flop of the year necessarily. This is the biggest flop.
Someone who exhibited flop-like behavior.
Yeah.
Your behavior, the behavior you exhibited tonight was flop-like.
If you can see in your mind's eye who that will be directed to, go ahead and campaign for that person.
The next category is biggest jester flop.
So if you can sort of combine what it means to be a jester and also what it means to be a flop, this is that type of person that we're looking for to sort of carry the mantle forward of biggest jester flop.
The behavior you exhibited tonight was jester flop-like.
So if you can see who that might be directed to in your mind's eye, then by all means, campaign for that person.
Okay, and then what's the next category?
The next category is biggest jester flop in the clown square.
In the town square or the clown square?
The clown square.
Thank you. Well, that's a correction, actually, because I typed in the town square, but Matt, as the originator of that phrase, gets to change the name.
So if you can imagine sort of like the jester flop that we've been talking about, but so public that you could even call what they're going through that they're in the clown square.
Clown square, tomatoes flying.
Tomatoes flying
hitting the
at
makeup,
the flop.
the clown makeup.
Honey, just imagine this person worthy of being dragged so hard because what they've flopped gesturing it was so square-ish, clown-like that we have to get rid of this person. Then please campaign for that person.
I have someone in mind already for that one.
Oh my god, but I'm so excited to find out who it is.
Okay.
The next category.
Most amazing impact in film. This is similar to Best Picture, would you say? But not really. We're talking about impact. We're talking about impact.
I would say this goes to the persons, or organization, or entity that has had the most amazing impact in film. So this is film, of course, meaning movies.
Yeah.
And impact meaning gaggery.
Gaggery. What's the next category?
The next category is Best Asker. So we have Best Actor, Best Actress. That's not here. Today we have Best Asker. This is most incredible person that ever asked questions.
So this could be, do you think it helps to kind of give examples, not of people, but of kinds of people who are good askers?
I would say yes.
People who whose job it is to interview people.
Yes.
Whether it's on a TV show or for a job or for
lawyers.
Or on a podcast. Lawyers.
Yeah.
The best asker of the year. Let's just say, I mean, do you think, I have a serious question. Are a lot of these categories for the past year in culture?
No.
No.
I would say it goes for all time.
Amazing. And so this is the best asker of all time.
Best asker of all time.
Okay.
The next category.
Funniest gay man.
So a gay man, as in a man that has sex with other men, the person who is the funniest version of that.
There's a lot of, this is a crowded field.
Oh, I can already think of at least 3 people who are gay men and funny.
Funny.
Yeah.
What's the next category?
The next category is funniest gay woman.
This is a woman who has sex with other women, or just kind of, thinks of herself as gay.
Yeah.
And she is funny.
Yeah.
I can think of so many. This is maybe an even more crowded field.
This is a very crowded field because
I can think of 20.
I can think of at least 20. They've been allowed to be funny longer than gay men. And I'm okay saying that.
And we'll just go ahead and say for now, unless the readers really push for more categories like this, Las Culturistas is an institution like any other institution. It is prone to, social mishaps or misreadings. These are we're working with the gender binary here.
At this time, we're working with the binary. And that's not just the Natalie Mila binary. We're working with funniest gay man and funniest gay woman at this time until that changes.
We might expand the category. Who knows? Okay. The next category is best news we heard. Matt, talk about this.
So when you are living day to day, you are confronted with so much news. Some of the news is bad news that could put you in a bad mood. But every now and then you get very good news. And sometimes you even get the best news. So this category is best news we heard
of all time.
Of all time. Like we woke up and we this was the best news that we could ever hear. So much so that it deserves an award today.
And the next category is?
The next category is best candy. There are so many examples of candy, Bowen.
I can think of at least 3.
I can think of at least 3 examples of candy that would be competitive in the running for the award Best Candy. What's the next category?
The next category is Best Chocolate.
You might as well hit up Hershey Park and get up on your chocolate because one of them is going to be winning the award.
I just got an email from at Ferrero Rocher publicist. My God.
Oh my God, is saying let's talk.
Saying let's talk. I have something that will make you really, really happy.
Oh my God.
The bribery is already
The bribery
starting.
is beginning. What is this, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association? Because all of a
Come
sudden
on.
I'm knee deep in candy and chocolate. Girl. You're campaigning.
You're campaigning. You are Emily and Parising me today.
What's the next category?
This is Best Picture, parentheses, literal picture.
There have been so many iconic pictures taken over the history of time. And this is the best picture. Because every year at the Oscars, you hear
Or
best
drawn.
picture, best picture.
No, it's not just photos. It's drawings, paintings.
You're so right. It's not just photos.
But and this is what makes this category so
shine
wild. Giant category. Lots of contenders. Only one will win.
Only one picture will win Best Picture.
For now, almost all of the categories of the Las Culturistas Culture Awards will only have one winner. Some of them may be ties. Only some, but we will specify at a later date which ones those will be.
There is a next category. It is Album of the Year. Album of the Year.
This is the album. This is like this is a songwriting award.
Yeah.
Is that what it is with the Grammys?
Album of the Year goes to the album, and then Song of the Year does go to the song, and that's the songwriting award.
No, but between album and record of the year. Oh, right. No, never mind. Album is. I'm so sorry. Album
a collection
of
songs.
Collection of songs. This is the best collection of songs. This is not of all time. This is of the year.
Well, we didn't say what year.
We didn't say what year.
And we won't. And we won't.
We won't. We have a next category.
Yes.
It is
Record of the Year.
So this is the production.
Yes.
This is the production.
Yes. Yes. And we did not say what year.
We did not say what we have a next category. Best seltzer flavor. As I had mentioned earlier, I'm still excited. I'm still as excited as I was when I gave a little peek.
Before we gave sort of a peek behind the curtain, and now it's like, let's really start thinking about it. And we said Pamplemousse, which sort of, I think, is going to put them in front of everyone else. But I don't ever deny some of these girls that love their coconut. Because
lychee.
Coconut, hello, lime?
Lime? Hello, mango?
I have to say, mango is always in the running because you always get mango when you order a box of LaCroix. You cannot avoid mango. And that's got to be something.
And if this category were best fruit, mango would be very much in the conversation. Yeah. And the fact that we're still talking about mango when the category is best seltzer flavor says so much about the power of mango.
Yeah. There is a next category that we have. Most shocking moment of the year. This goes out to that moment that made us all gasp and scream.
Oh my God. This is the moment of the year. We don't know what year yet. This is the moment of the year when we all went, oh my God.
Oh my God. And we had to look at each other because we were so shocked. It was so shocking, the moment of the year, that it deserves the award.
For most shocking moment of the year. I'm excited to announce the next category.
Yes, there's the next category.
Best teen.
Between the ages of 13 and 19, there are many people competing for this award.
And only one will win. We have a next category.
Best 20-something.
So people between the ages of 20 to 29. A lot of people. Even more so than 13 to 19.
There are so many people in this category. It's a more crowded category than almost any other.
I think you might be right. Definitely more 20-somethings than there are types of fruit. We have a next category.
100%. Oh, no, it's like going to be very competitive between a few for like seltzer, but 20-something, it's wide open at this point.
So open.
We have a next category.
Best 30-something. Oh, my God. Whew. And these are people who, some of them may be very established in their fields, if that's what we're judging them on. If that's what the Academy, the Las Culturistas Academy judges them on, which is the readers.
Yeah.
But it could be someone who just exudes the most intrigue or awe, or someone who just embodies what a 30-something is.
Yes. And we're in this category.
We're in this category. And there's no nominees, but we're up for it.
We are up for it.
How do you feel about being up for it?
Nervous. Really nervous.
I kind of don't want it. Because then that's when people are like, oh, they're overrated, and why are we sort of heaping all this praise on them? And it just really, it makes me feel uneasy if I think about winning this award.
I think what scares me is how much I do want it.
And then you can admit that I'm not ready to admit that I want it yet. That's the difference.
We have a next category. This is the Lady Gaga Award for being one person in a room award.
This is an award for for someone being in a room and being the only person in that room. Is that accurate? Am I missing anything?
Seems 100% clear to me.
Okay.
We have another category.
Best straight or heterosexual person.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good ones.
They are out there.
They're out there.
I believe the saying is they're here, they're straight or heterosexual. Get used to it.
I feel like this is, if this were a sliding scale sort of nomination system, like there would only be certain nominees based on the submissions. This would be one of the sparser categories. But
yeah,
just as much open-ended in this category as there is with everything else.
I think that this is just going to come down to who really wants it.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people might want it more than we think. We have a next category.
This category is most iconic building or structure.
Of all time.
We know them. We love them. We live in them. We've seen them. We often photograph them. Sometimes we even read about them or see them on tours. But only one is the most iconic building or structure and will win the Las Culturistas Culture Award for being as such.
The next category is best YouTube video of those chart data timeline things. I was just talking about this.
You, in fact, were.
We love these videos, and there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Only for the important ones. Because, the one-hit wonders, they can't, it's kind of like a snapshot. You don't really need the timeline.
And to think that something we only brought up on this episode is an entire category. Has
every right to be.
It has every right to be.
Don't sleep on this category, you guys.
No.
This is not one of those like, oh, it's in the middle of the show, everyone get up and go refill your drinks. No, this is a category you're going to want to stick around for.
Yes.
Promise.
And we have a next category. Speaking of things we discussed on the episode, best Katy Perry moment.
Oh my God.
There have been so many moments. Of Katy Perry.
Do you think a moment that hasn't even happened yet might win?
It's not up to me. But I guess it is.
But it could.
Ultimately, I guess it is up to us.
Well,
but I'm not ruling it out. I think that people should campaign. I think it's like on American Idol where if you didn't want that person to be voted out, you should have voted. If you want a campaign and you want something to rise to the top and win the Culture Award, campaign.
Yeah, campaign. My God. Here we go. We have another category. Best movie we did not see.
Now, Bowen and I have seen very many movies, but
you more so than me. Let's be real.
I have not seen so much, and only one of them will win the Culture Award for best movie. We, Bowen and I, did not see.
Amazing.
We have another category.
I think we have another category. I think it's your turn to now.
Outstanding reality competition host.
My God.
There are famously one has won the Emmy every year. This might be an opportunity for us to either add to that haul or go a different way.
Matt, I think you're up for this category.
I'm up for this. I'm not saying I am not. It would be inappropriate for me, especially because I'm nervous about how much I want it.
Yeah.
To sort of sway the publicists and campaigners out there, of which now everyone is one.
Yeah.
But I am up for this.
This is what everyone has to understand. When it's Las Culturistas Culture Award season, everyone's a publicist.
Oh, yeah. It's
Okay.
it's Rule of Culture number 91. When it's
Las
Las Culturistas Culture Award season, everyone's a publicist.
Oh, yeah. That's all
We have
to
a next
say to that.
category.
Smallest snub.
People talk about the big ones.
But there are small ones. There are snubs. They're, are snubs. We can acknowledge them to be snubs, but they're not that big. They're not a big deal. It's like, oh, that person didn't win or didn't get nominated. That's too bad, but it's not something that they really maybe fully deserved as much as, as this other person.
I'm also up for this.
This is getting really, really meta. It's an Ouroboros. The snake is eating its own damn tail.
We have a next category. Worst insult towards us.
This dates back to our friendship, or when people whenever the first time, oh my God, Matt, who, there's someone out there who made history, which was not insulted us, but there was the first person to refer to the two of us as like a unit of oh, those two people over there.
Yep.
I
know exactly who you're talking about.
Who grouped us together for the first time.
Yes.
That person made history.
That person made history, and they better hope that there's a bigger insult towards us out there. Because they might get
those
dragged.
Two guys over there. Well, this is the award for the worst insult that someone has made about us, and this can date as far back to when you and I were in college, walking down the street together, getting a coffee together, saying hello, someone coming up to us saying, "You fucking get out of my way, you coffee people."
Yeah.
That's a bad example, but
But I think coffee people was sort of used in there. It could have been something else. Just saying. We have a next category.
Scariest monster. Lots of scary ones.
I mean...
Fictional? Non-fictional?
I mean, from Dracula to the Unabomber, there have been so many monsters in history. I mean, from one. Nurse Ratched to
Cookie
monster.
Some people think Cookie's scary.
The fake, the real, who will be the scariest of them all? That's the big question we ask.
I have one. Okay. I have a category. By one, I mean category. Most controversial Wendy Williams moment.
I mean, we discussed them on this podcast, but only one can be the most controversial. Is it her sort of shrugging off someone's death? Is it her fainting in a sort of Statue of Liberty garb? What is the most controversial? What was the moment that shook it up the most when it comes to the queen of talk, Wendy Williams?
And I believe Wendy is up for a lot of these categories.
She's up for almost every category.
Wendy is the favorite in a lot of these categories.
Yeah.
Maybe definitely for best. I'm just at a glance, best asker, best.
I think most shocking moment of the year.
Biggest duster flop in the clown square.
For sure.
I mean,
in many ways, she could be the scariest monster.
Come on. Or smallest snub.
Wendy
will be a presence. Oh yes,
she'll be a presence. I have a new category. Most recurring stress dream.
Oh my gosh.
Recurring stress dream.
The stress dream that recurs the most. If you could if you keep a journal for your dreams and you went back and flipped the pages, flip, and you saw, oh my God, the one where I'm doing that's the one that's going to win.
Most common.
Thank you.
We have a next category.
Worst way to die. Death is sad.
But it's not always bad. And
there's some deaths that are bad.
And there's some deaths and there is a death that is the worst. And we are going to be awarding that on the Las Culturistas Culture Awards.
I'm seeing a new category come through.
We have a next category. Best flavor of them all.
This is different from best seltzer flavor.
Oh, because what could be the best seltzer flavor, which I think I know what I want, is definitely different than the best flavor.
Of them all.
Of them all.
Of the year or of all time?
You're not reading it's best flavor of them all.
That's of the set of flavors that exist currently, but are we stretching it back to of all time, every flavor that's existed?
Best flavor of
well, then
them
that means there are a lot. This is a crowded category.
It's very crowded. Very crowded. And if your flavor of talk show host is Wendy Williams,
then she's up.
She's also up for this. We have a next category.
Best Lil Bro. Now, if you remember, Lil Bro is what Matt Rodgers was called by the man who was topping him.
Yeah.
And it really, really worked. Really sort of was a trigger, as the kids say.
It was like he was Hermione Granger casting a spell in that it worked, okay?
Accio cum.
Accio cum.
Accio.
Prostate orgasm.
I thought it was Accio. Whatever.
No,
it's turf text.
That's me saying Rorschach. No, or Warscotch. What did I say?
You said Warscotch.
Sure.
We have a next category.
Best Big Bro.
This is almost, would you say this is another way of saying best top?
It's not up to me yet again. It's really up to.
Wait, it either is up to us or it's not. I don't know what we need to really fall on one side with that.
I would say this: we are going to be deciding the winners, but that doesn't really mean it's up to us.
I see. That makes total sense.
I think that this is where the readers have to come in and really campaign, you know? Who is the best big bro? Is it a big bro on film and television? Is it a top? It's not. It's just not for me to say yet.
No, exactly.
And we also don't know when these awards are going to be, which is important to say. Okay, we have a next category.
Best friend.
Best friend.
That's my best friend. If you need a freak, I ain't dumb, but motherfucker, she my Tweedledee. This is the friend that is the best. I think you're up for this.
I think you're up for this. And to be competing against each other in this category is hard.
So hard.
And I guess I'm scared how much I want it.
I don't want it because then I will always be measured against this award and be like, well, is he, 20 years from now, will I be a best friend? Will I be as good of a friend as I was, in all my life before? It's so hard. I don't really want it. And you're brave enough to say that you do. And I wish I had that bravery. And that's why I love you so much as a friend. I love you.
Love you back. We have a next category. Most memorable line in a movie.
This is not a screenwriting award, but it's an award for the line that is most memorable.
And this could come in a screenplay that is absolute horseshit. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
But it's the most memorable line in a movie.
Oh, the camp classics are not disqualified from this. The trashiest line. All movies are competing. We have a next category.
We have a next category.
Most memorable line in a TV show. This is similar to movies.
Pretty straightforward to me.
But every movie,
straightforward to me.
Hold on. Okay, so I did just receive an email from Megan McCain, who's listening live, but she prefers to email us messages as we're recording. She says that all TV shows are in competition, are competing for this category.
Makes sense to me.
We have a next category.
Best note ever sung.
Now, is this a pitch?
It could be about pitch. It could be about emotion. It could be about how high the note is or how low the note is.
Are we attributing who sang the note is what I'm asking.
I think that it could be a specific note sung in a specific song. It could be a note on the scale. All I know is the category is best note ever sung.
And it's very clear. The timeline is very clear here. Best note ever sung. We know what we're dealing with. And it's so interesting that this category has ever in it, and then the other categories either don't have the word ever in it or say of the year. But
some of them are of all time or of all. This is best note ever sung.
Ever sung.
And actually, I'm going to throw myself into the ring right now.
late entry.
Late entry. For your consideration, we have an X category.
Worst note ever sung. Oh, you thought the binaries were done? No. Here they are again.
And I just threw myself into the ring for that as well.
Uh-oh.
We have an X category. Best live performance by a woman.
There are so many. I can think of at least 3.
I can think of at least 3. We are not up for this.
No, but so many people are. And the submission window will not close until the minute before we start the awards recording the episode at an undetermined time.
Which we do not know what it is.
Which we do not know when.
We have a next category.
The Diablo Cody Screenplay Award. This is an award that is either for a screenplay that really, really fucking popped right away and people got it and loved it, or didn't pop right away but earns a cult appreciation years later until it becomes universally loved by everybody and is seen as like a really great sort of, horror, fantasy, feminist work.
So this is actually, while it's named after Diablo Cody and you think it's going to be a general good award for a good screenplay, it's actually it should really apply to being a Diablo Cody vibe. Okay?
It doesn't have to be written by Diablo. It should just feel like Tully. It should feel like young adults.
In energy, in essence.
Yes.
We have a next category. The Cate Blanchett Award for Good Acting. I think that one of the best actors of all time is Cate Blanchett.
I agree.
And I think Bowen would agree. Yes.
I agree.
And so this is an award for good acting. But remember, it should feel like Cate Blanchett is also winning it.
Is Cate up for this award?
Yes.
It was Diablo up for the Screenplay Award.
Yes. And if they don't win their own namesake
that would
awards,
be so embarrassing.
It would be so embarrassing. But listen, I mean, we're not trying to make anyone comfortable here.
No.
Which sort of brings me to my next category here. We have, Bo.
Can I announce it?
You may.
It is the Kylie Minogue Award for Why Haven't They Happened in America Yet?
Enough said.
I mean, and is this a similar thing where if Kylie doesn't win this one, then it's just egg on her face?
I think it would be major egg on her small Australian face if her little Aussie face, if she didn't win an award that was her namesake, because that would mean that we're asking why haven't they happened in America yet in a higher
Kylie.
Magnitude than Kylie, which sort of brings me to the next award.
Oh, interesting. We have a next category.
The Little Mix Award for being absolutely fierce boots.
Oh my God. They are fierce, those 3. Those are some fierce girls.
And listen, they are obviously up for the Kylie Minogue Why Haven't They Happened in America Yet award, but they're also up for the Little Mix Award for being absolutely fierce boots, and it would be egg on their British faces if they didn't win the award for
their variably sized British faces. And I think, but at least I think there were presents throughout the rest of the awards. I mean, they're definitely up for best live performance by a woman.
Yeah.
That would be a shared award, even though the category signifies or denotes a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
Smallest snub for sure.
Best 20-something.
Best 20-something. Album of the year, record of the year. Best news we heard could be about Little Mix. There's a lot there. So I think Little Mix, like if they don't win this one, there's plenty of opportunity in other categories.
There's a lot of opportunity. And speaking of opportunity, the next category. We have a next category.
The Tina Turner Legend Award.
This will go to a legend.
On the magnitude
This will go to an absolute legend on the magnitude of Tina.
Rock icon Tina Turner, someone who invented the form to begin with, someone who is legendary.
Lived and lived again.
Don't you want to be a legend?
Yeah.
Or statement or star? My God. We have a next category.
Most relaxing destination.
You close your eyes and what do you picture if you want to be transported to a place where you are completely at ease? That's the winner.
This could be a specific place or a place that is sort of imagined. You know what I mean? It can be anything. It can be anything.
It can be anything. This is very similar to Scariest Monster. Fictional, non-fictional. It's wide open.
Right. We have a next category.
Best damn bird. This is a big one.
This is one of the biggest categories of all because there are thousands, millions, billions of birds.
Mm-hmm.
And also there is the saying, damn bird.
Damn bird.
So this is the best damn bird.
It is not the Katrina's Clarity's Rogers Award for Best Damn Bird. It is just Best Damn Bird.
No.
So Katrina has no pressure on her to win this because she's not up for it.
But she is sort of, I'm sure that she will campaign. I'm sure that she as someone who's been around a lot of damn birds, everyone's a publicist, including my mother. We have a next category. Best Disney World ride.
There are so many.
Dozens.
And we're not even specifying if it's a flume, if it's a 3D show, if it's a live show, if it's a
ride.
No, it's just ride. It's just ride.
Something you get on.
Well, do you consider like one of the live shows? That's not a ride to you.
You don't ride a live show. It's actually Real Culture number 106. You don't ride a live
show unless you're a rodeo person. Unless you're at the rodeo, you're on the damn cow.
I guess so, but I guess then the cow would be of course, because famously at these rodeos they ride cows. Cowboy, what?
We have a next category. Best Universal Studios Orlando ride.
I want to see my Orlando queens campaigning. I want the girls campaigning for their faves. This is definitive.
Okay, should we define a ride as anything that you put that you buckle a seatbelt for?
Not even necessarily, because the teacups they don't make you put a seatbelt on.
That's right.
There are some flume rides, like I think Splash Mountain. You don't have to put on a damn seatbelt.
There's no belt.
Anything you get in and then it goes.
Thank you. I all I wanted all along was just for some definition, and you gave it to me just now, so well.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you. We have a next category, Matt.
Six Flags Award for Worst Ride in Orlando.
Oh my God.
This is the Six Flags Award for Worst Ride in Orlando. This really speaks for itself. Its namesake, a bad chain of theme parks, for Worst Ride in Orlando, Florida. I want to see my girls campaigning. Now,
am I wrong in saying that there's a ride at the airport or no? I think I'm wrong.
I think you might be wrong. But
I wasn't sure if there was like a Vegas thing where like, there's like slot machines at the airport and it's like they kind of like want to bring that experience to as soon as you leave.
I think I would know.
You would know. And I actually, it sounds wrong as I say it, but this isn't even something at Universal or Disney World. It could be a different park.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a next category.
Best Cousin of the Week.
So this is anyone that has Cousin of the Week energy. You may have to sort of dive back into the podcast to find out what Cousin of the Week is. But this is someone who embodies what it means to be a cousin.
Of the week.
We'll be giving them an award. Cousin of the Week.
And I should clarify, it's Best Cousin of the Week of all time, correct?
Best Cousin of the Week ever of all time.
Ever. Yeah, it's not in the actual title of the category, but now you're adding it, I see, on the Google Doc, and thank you. So I'm reading, let me just read that again. Best Cousin of the Week ever of all time.
Yeah. So this might require some homework. The Cousin of the Week is someone who embodies what it means to be a cousin that week. This award is given to the best Cousin of the Week ever of all time.
Thank you. We have a next category.
Mm-hmm. Best I Don't Think So Honey of all time. Wow.
I'm speechless.
Our own thing. To know that it's on the list, it's an honor. You're up for it.
I don't think I'm up for this. I think you're up for this.
We're both up for it.
No, I think there's some obvious people who are up for this. Can I just list off some names now?
I can think of one. Go ahead.
I can think of a couple. Pat Regan, Joel Kim Booster, Greta Titelman, Sudie Green. I mean, the people you know and love.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina Wu gave a great one at a live show.
Absolutely.
a lot of contenders. I'm not up for this, and that's okay.
No, you're up for it. Being up for it and being competitive for it are two different things.
Okay.
I also think you often do this thing where you're like, no, it's bad, I'm bad. But you have had some really good ones that are competitive. And you know what? There's going to be people campaigning. A lot of publicists out there are going to be campaigning. And you might be surprised what of your repertoire is eligible.
Okay.
And worthy.
How do you feel about your odds in this one?
I think I have submitted a lot of material.
Yeah.
And I think that they might all cancel each other out. But I think I've had some good I Don't Think So Honeys. I would be shocked to hear that one of my I Don't Think So Honeys was the best I Don't Think So Honey of all time. I'm actually pretty sure I know what's going to win this. I'm very sure I know what's going to win this. But we have to talk, you, Megan, and I. We have a next category.
Best thing to order for the table.
I mean, there's so many apps.
There's not even apps. Sometimes it's a pizza.
Sometimes it's an entree that everyone shares, and we should say that. This is the best of all those things.
You sit down, you feel out the vibe. Someone says, "I know what to order at the table," and then it comes, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad you ordered this."
So happy, and it's
the Shishitos. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to.
Well, you're campaigning.
I didn't mean to campaign, and I actually don't really care for shishito peppers.
I love shishito peppers. I guess now I'm the publicist, huh?
No, because everyone's a publicist. We're both publicists.
Everyone's a publicist. It's kind of like everyone's a critic. Everyone's a publicist. We have a next category: best dinner. Usually happens after 5:30. The meal that you eat. That's likely the last meal of the day.
Sometimes the borders are a little undefined. But this is something you eat that really feels substantial at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I've had some good ones in my life. I'm very blessed.
I am so fortunate to have eaten some dinners that I would consider some of the best. And I don't think I'm done. I don't think I'm through. But one of them will be I don't think I'm through.
That's me. I'm so amazed at that you don't think you're done, that you don't think you're through with your dinners.
I think I'll continue to eat dinner, and I think that but up until now there'll have been one best dinner.
And this is not best dinner that we've eaten. It's best dinner.
Best dinner. Take it out of us.
I know. Oh
no, I'm telling the publicist, take it out of us. Take it out of you. We have to make an objective culture decision on what's the best dinner.
Yes.
We have a next category.
Best lunch. This is lunch. This is that meal you eat
between 11:30 and 3.
Yes, in some school systems, in some public school systems.
Too early.
11 a.m. That was, I went to a school where if you had 11 a.m. lunch, you were lucky.
I had lunch at 10:15 one time.
At school?
Yeah.
Or recently?
No.
At school.
I had my lunch period was 10:15 a.m.
And that's what, you know what? And we're actually being classist.
Well, they got us up at 6. Jesus.
They got us up at Jesus. But I'm talking about the graveyard shift people. Maybe 10 a.m. is their dinner. You know what I'm saying?
You're so right. We're thinking in a binary.
Not even in a binary. We're thinking
trinary?
We're thinking in terms of a capitalist sort of timetable in the day. And let's just dismantle it. But
You're right, Fisher.
But we're not getting rid of the category. That's for sure. But best lunch can be at any time. And so can the next category. We have a next category.
Best breakfast.
Oh my God. And breakfast can be at any time of the day too.
I know some diners that serve it all day long. Okay?
Oh.
And say that.
And you want to know what I did the other night?
Yeah.
Couldn't have been earlier than 11 p.m. I said, I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm hungry. This is what I want. I scrambled some eggs, put some of my tomato kimchi on top, put it on a piece of toast, and that was my dinner. And I was like,
AKA the behavior that they created the words "go off king" about.
That is
AKA the behavior of a king. Frying eggs that night
11.
At 11. Go off, king.
And
it's never been more apt.
Thank you.
We have a next category.
Best fish. This is when Matt and I really kind of unraveled as we were typing this list
Best
out.
fish.
Best fish.
What's the best fish? We want to know. From you, the publicist, what is the best fish once and for all? We have skipped 2.
We've skipped 2.
I'm going to say the next category.
Okay.
Best snack. You might eat this between breakfast, lunch and dinner. Best snack. It's
I'm
the
so
one
sorry
number
for
one.
skipping.
Number one. It's okay. It's the number one best snack. We have a next category.
Best beverage. This is something you drink, whether it's with a meal or not tethered to a meal at all. I'm about to drink some water right now, which is in the running.
Oh, water is in the running.
Very competitive.
For best it's beverage.
It's up for it. It's competitive.
Oh, it's up for it. It's competitive. I think it's got a lot of fans, maybe even everyone in the world. But will they vote and will they campaign?
And will they campaign? It's not up to us.
Not up to us until it is. Exclusively.
We have a next category.
The Catherine Hahn Award for us being gagged.
This is going to really stir up some drama. A lot of people will have a lot of strong opinions on that because, of course, being gagged is a strong opinion, is a strong emotion.
One of the strongest emotions you can feel: love, anger, being gagged.
And Catherine Hahn is very emblematic of that. That's why the award is named after her. She is in the running.
She's in the running.
She's up for it.
And humiliating for her if she doesn't win.
Humiliating.
We have a next category.
Worst criminal of all time. Worst criminal of all time. This is dark. There are dark criminals out there. And this is like blue collar criminals. This can be murderers.
So many ways you could be a criminal.
Bootleggers. So many kinds of crime.
White collar, blue collar, black collar.
That's what I meant when I said blue collar criminal. I meant a blue collar criminal that's not a category.
I think
it's a white
clear.
collar criminal.
It's clear.
So
this is the worst criminal of all time, which is separate from Scariest Monster.
Oh yeah, but there's some it might be a concentric circle within Scariest Monster of all time, or it's a Venn diagram where there's plenty of overlap.
I think it could be a concentric circle. We have a next category. Best influencer we haven't heard of. So many
best movie we haven't seen.
Young girls are influencing all the doodah day, and we haven't heard of so many of them.
But one of them is the best.
We
have a next category. Best emoji.
You know them, you love them. You see them hanging out on your phone all day like Giselle's boyfriend.
Like he's in the phone.
He lives in the phone.
The emojis live on the phone, and some of them are new, some of them are old, some of them you'd never even used. How often do you go into the flags? How often do some of you go into the flags? They're up for this. Don't sleep on the flags.
This is going to skyrocket. This has the potential to skyrocket the profile of one of the emojis. So, campaign publicists, we have a next category. Best emotion to portray.
This is so specific because it's not a best emotion. It is best emotion to portray.
To your fans, to friends, to those watching you. Best emotion to portray.
To portray. Amazing.
We have a next category.
We have a chunk of categories that I think will be very important.
Absolutely.
Okay, can I announce this one?
Yes.
We're almost done with these announcements, by the way. Best animal on the farm.
You know them, you love them. They're on the farm. They've been on the farm. They've been waiting for this moment. You might even see them in a petting zoo.
And only one will win. E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-O. E-G-O-T-L-C-C-A. More like.
I meant, what did you spell?
E-I-E-I-O. EGOT. Las Culturistas.
Oh my God, that's it.
We have a next category. Best animal in the forest.
You might be seeing this one up in the tree, on the ground, hiding in the leaves, in the bushes, eating a mushroom. All the critters.
Critters the house down. Or should I say, the forest wide.
The forest wide, the canopy tall. And this is deciduous forest. This can be rainforest. This can be anywhere with a cluster of trees.
Coniferous girls.
Coniferous girls.
Step to the front.
Best animal in the forest.
We have a next category.
Best animal in the sea.
First of all, can we say one of the biggest entities is it actually was a rule. It was a moment of culture. Our nation's oceans, the exploration of our nation's oceans, our world's oceans and seas. This takes even deeper dive, if you will, and asks who is the greatest, best animal in the sea.
I don't think this will be a peaceful category.
No.
I think a lot of people will be hurt. A lot of animals will be hurt.
And haven't they been hurt enough? Apparently not.
Apparently not. But you better campaign if you want what's right to end up being the outcome.
Animals include mammals, fish,
reptiles,
amphibians.
So many.
We have a next category.
This is upsetting, but it's your turn to announce.
Best billionaire.
You know, they are a category of human being, and we are a culture podcast. We're awarding things to everything in the culture. Billionaires are in the culture, whether we like it or not. We're awarding this award to the best one.
Best one meaning not necessarily nicest person. Best billionaire. Who walks the walk of being a billionaire the most?
And now it's very hard because they're all sort of blending together. They're all doing the same things. They're all going to space. They're all starting, to see the same trainer. It's like we need someone who stands out as a billionaire.
Which one should be uplifted on the podcast Las Culturistas?
And publicists, readers, you might have to start campaigning for a billionaire. And I bet you never thought you'd have to do that in your life.
I'm excited to hear what the readers come up with. We have a next category. It is your turn.
Best planet. This is not limited in our solar system.
No.
This can be in the Kepler system. This can be in other systems, in another star, in a binary star system.
It could be a Star Wars planet. It could be Avatar.
It could be a Little Prince planet. The Petit Prince. It can be Mormonism planet. It can be a lot. Avatar, you said.
It could be Earth.
It could be Earth.
It could be Earth.
It could be Earth.
We'd be willing to hear arguments. Megan Bowen and I.
What happened to Abby?
Oh, I guess she's still around and producing. I guess I just forgot about her.
We haven't heard from her in a while, and it feels like Megan's really drowned out. Megan McCain, we should remind.
They got in a big fight. So.
It's too bad.
We have a next category. Best teacher we ever had, parentheses, Teacher Respect Award.
This is, now who is we?
Best teacher we ever had, Teacher Respect Award.
Thank you. You answered my question.
We, the royal we. Best teacher we ever had. Again, it's not up to me necessarily. I'm just willing to hear campaigns. I want the publicists to sort of do their work in deciding what this is. Best teacher we ever had, Teacher Respect Award.
Thank you.
This is an opportunity to really lift someone up.
Wendy Williams is up for this category.
She is up for this. If you think
Little Mix is up for this.
They're up for it. They've all taught. We have one more category to announce.
And here, let me just do a quick count on how many categories this is. We've only told you 72 categories. So that is like a little less than a third